Several weeks ago, my eldest kid, who's an adult, said something that really changed the way that I think about the Epstein files, and I want to share it with you now. Our reality has been fractured in really significant ways, and it's horrifying to realize how extensive the depravity is, how many people were involved, and for how long, and how many people knew and protected them. In my initial reaction video to this latest dump of Epstein files, I was like, the thing that stood out the most for me is just the fact that they were not even trying very hard to hide it. They were fully confident that no one was going to stop them, that they were above and outside the law, that they were so powerful that they could do whatever they wanted. Realizing how many men and how many places in our government, in foreign governments, royal families, institutions of higher learning, big law firms, Hollywood, tech bros, corporation CEOs, it's fucking everywhere. Powerful men everywhere. And this is the thing that my daughter said that really shifted my understanding. She said the thing about abusing children is that it's something that incredibly wealthy, powerful men throughout history have done. And it's not really about whether they are attracted to children, because it's not about attraction at all. It's about power. She said, rather, it's about how they can do the worst kind of despicable crime and get away with it. It's the fact that they think it's a flex to violate the biggest taboo in our culture, and nobody will stop them. That's what they get off on, the power, the way that they feel untouchable. It is about doing things that are taboos that we know are despicable and abhorrent, not because they in particular enjoy those things, not because that's what they're into, not because that's what they get off on. What they get off on is the power of getting away with violating all of those taboos, which is why throughout history, wealthy men have done these kinds of things, right? They have all of the money they could ever want. They have all of the riches they could ever want. They have power over all kinds of people, influence everywhere, right? The thing that they're craving, right? They've got some itch they've got to scratch. They've got a high that they've got to chase. And so when you already have accumulated all of the money, when you can, marry a model, when you control some major corporation, when you can influence government, when you have all of this power already, what's left? What's left to prove that you are basically godlike and untouchable? What's the way that you give a big fuck you to everybody and say, there's nothing you can do to me? I am an entirely different breed than you, right? You're not even human. You're just a plaything to me. You are entertainment to me. I can treat you however I want to treat you, like an object for my own amusement. And you can't stop me, right? That's what this is about. And then I think there's this whole other layer to it. We are so focused on what we are thinking might have happened based on the evidence in the files. And I've seen people speculating wildly in ways that are just blatantly false and irresponsible. I see way too many people treating this like a true crime podcast. And I also see folks who are really getting hung up and kind of marinating in the files and the details in the files and sort of missing the bigger picture. They want all of the scandalous, outrageous, horrific details. People are getting bogged down in the horrifying details, and there's plenty to be horrified about. But I think they're missing sort of the bigger picture here. And I do appreciate the ways that I've heard a number of members of Congress be very clear that this is absolutely about a ring of child traffickers, absolutely, and that the federal government is engaged in a cover-up. They are serving as PDF file protectors for sure. But I really appreciate folks like Jamie Raskin and Rep. Stansbury and Rep. Jayapal, who are very clear to remind us this is also an influence peddling scheme. This is first and foremost about controlling levers of government, controlling the economy, controlling corporations, making sure that very rich men in the Epstein class enrich themselves even further and cement their control. This is about power and money and labor, right? This is about truly evil, sadistic, sociopathic men, Jeffrey Epstein, Steve Bannon, Donald Trump, controlling all kinds of people, right? They were able to get so much dirt and shake down so many people. This is, at the end of the day, an influence peddling scheme. This is, at the end of the day, a con. This is a shakedown. This is corruption. This is control. This is using information you have on crimes that have been committed to get foreign governments, members of royal families, CEOs, heads of big law firms to do your bidding. This is an entire corrupt system run by men who are just absolutely driven by greed and depravity. And I think we've got to understand how much is going to have to be dismantled in the months and years to come in order to get justice. It's not just about the prosecutions. It's about the entire system that allows for children and women to be exploited and harmed in this way, and how prosecuting the individuals won't fix it. It won't fix it. It will get some measure of immediate justice for the victims, but it's about a system that allows people to become so obscenely wealthy that the only way that they can get their kicks, the only way that they can feel something, is to violate the worst taboos in our society, commit the most horrific crimes, and then brag about it, and then get away with it. This is obscenely rich men who are completely detached from their humanity. They don't see us as humans. They've got their fingers in an awful lot of pies. The reason that we're in this position is because we've allowed rich men to accumulate massive quantities of wealth and power unchecked, virtually unchecked. And the solution is that we tax them out of existence. Well, we prosecute them. We tax them out of existence. We create guardrails for us, the people, because this is about exploiting all of us. Yes, Epstein's victims, but this is a system of power meant to exploit and manipulate and control all of us, to take our wealth, our labor, our lives, and siphon whatever they want off of those up to them so that they can function as an entirely separate tier where they can escape justice, where they can hoard the wealth of this nation, where they can commit unspeakable acts and get away with it. And that cannot be allowed to continue. It's the men who do unspeakable, terrible things, but it's the systems that they have created and benefited from that have allowed them to do these crimes and to get away with them and to feel like nothing is ever going to stop them for literally decades. I do believe it could be the work of our lifetimes to dismantle the system that has allowed, you can't even call it a cabal, it's a syndicate, a network, it's a broad spanning network of so many wealthy, powerful people who've been playing with all of us, have been playing with regular, ordinary people. I think getting justice for Epstein's victims is intertwined with getting justice for working class Americans, because we have the same victimizer. It's the same shared oppressor. It's the super rich. It's the Epstein class. So when we are working on overturning Citizens United, taxing the rich out of existence, ending for-profit healthcare and getting universal healthcare, when we are working on dismantling all of those systems of power that have enabled these men to accumulate obscene quantities of resources and victimize so many people, we are also helping get justice for Epstein's victims and make sure that there are not more children who are exploited in this way, that the wealthy and powerful no longer exist. This whole system that they have created that has empowered them to do these horrific things for so long has to be dismantled. That has to be part of justice. And in the process, we'll help get ourselves the country that we deserve.